full of whispers, alibis thin. Two sharp-eyed sleuths say, all right, who sinned? Has tipped low, clues fall in line. They read between the lines, right on time. Grim starts sweating when the squad rolls through. Every story tested, most don't stand up to prove. So grab your fedora, jump right in. True Crime Squad's on, and the trouble begins. Join the super squad, bonus laughs, deeper clues. Same sharp sleuths, just extra clues.
Hey everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going just fine.
It's been a beautiful day.
Gorgeous
in the high
day.
40s, blue sky, sunshine.
Yeah.
What's going on, Mother Nature?
Couldn't ask for nicer.
I'm not complaining. It's just, Puxatawny Phil did see a shadow today and said there'd be 6 more weeks of winter, but we haven't even had 6 weeks of winter. So
I know. It's
what
like,
does that
Bill,
even
I don't
mean?
think you're talking to us. I just don't think you're talking to us at all.
Generally, I never, I never think he's correct. So,
well, yeah, he's never talking to us for real. That's true.
It's true. We live in a place of wildly unpredictable weather, so who the hell knows what's going on, frankly.
For real.
But I know it's pretty wild for everybody across the country. Either it's super hot or super cold, or you got a bunch of white stuff you weren't used to. It's all there.
We were in Boise over the weekend, and it was absolutely beautiful. Just gorgeous.
Oh, I bet it was. Yeah.
My girls were wearing coats, and I was like, why are you wearing coats? Didn't need them.
They're city slickers now.
I guess they are.
Christine says he's only right about 30% of the time. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Jamie Jam Gopher, exactly. Sweet Relief says, I don't think Vancouver, Canada has even had 6 hours of winter. We kind of feel the same way. Like we've had 2 snowstorms.
Mm-hmm.
It's not normal. I don't know. But today was a banner day in the true crime world because the Brandan Banfield trial has finally wrapped up. We never have to listen to that. That's not true. We still have sentencing. I was almost going to say we don't have to listen to that defense attorney one more time, but we do.
Yeah, one.
That man is a tedious human being.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked to you since closing arguments happened last Friday. And then the actual verdict today. So we wanted to share all of that with you today. I'm going to share summary videos of the defense closer, the prosecution's closer, and the sentencing. So one thing I have to say is Mr. Banfield looked pretty stunned that he was convicted.
Yeah.
The look on his face and the blinking and he gets this like pouty look on his face. It makes me want to just slap it right off from him. But he was not expecting to be convicted today, which
he does kind of look
tells
like a giant little boy.
He is. He does. Yes, he does. He has a very, very much a baby face, and he has a lot of very immature facial expressions. Yeah, I've got that too all the way through this trial. But boy, you really saw him today. You're going to see him in the.
No offense to little boys. I want to clear that up.
None at all. Yes, but you're going
we'll
to
get emails from little boys
verdict.
now. You know that. Yes.
We might. Who knows? But anyway, why don't we get right into it because we've got a lot. So
yeah,
let's do. His eyes were a little red. Still no tears though. I don't know, man. The dude is creepy. But let's listen to the prosecutor. Now, I will say this. There has been a lot of criticism of the prosecutor because she didn't take a lot of time. And I felt that too. And then I remembered something. She can see the jurors.
Yeah.
We don't get to see the jurors when we're watching a trial like this. She can see their faces. She can also see their reactions to the defense attorney who is so tedious and so unnecessarily verbose. And I really wonder if a lot of her being rather succinct about everything that she did was to counter the fact that he was not.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting to think about it from that respect, because it is a big part of the trial that we miss out on when we are watching
Right.
trial, is we don't get to see the responses. You know, the
From the
jurors'
jury.
faces tell you a lot.
And their body language and how much they're shifting
hmm
around and looking at their watch and looking
I
uncomfortable and
mean,
so on.
when the defense put on, well, its case, that was some of the most tedious court I have ever seen. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot imagine what they must have been thinking. But let's start with a summary of what the prosecutor had to say.
Good morning. Thank you so much, not just for what you're going to do today, but for all of the time that you have spent carefully considering the evidence that we've been able to put before you, for the attention that you've paid, for the notes that you've taken, for the time that you've given up away from your daily lives, your jobs, and your families. Without your work here, Kristi Banfield and Joseph Ryan would not be able to find justice. So thank you. The judge has read the instructions to you. They'll go back to the jury room with you, and you're going to have those as your guide in making your decision. I would draw your attention to the fact that you've been given 2 counts of aggravated murder, 1 count of use of a firearm in commission of murder, and 1 count of child endangerment. Talking first about the aggravated murder instructions. They have 3 parts. You'll first need to find that Brandan Banfield killed Kristi Banfield and Joseph Ryan. You'll need to find that those killings were willful, deliberate, and premeditated. You'll need to find for one of the counts that those 2 murders occurred within a 3-year period, and for the other count that those 2 murders occurred within the same transaction or occurrence. We know that they were killed during the same event within the Banfield residence, so that should knock that one out for you. 3 years, pretty simple as well. We know that they occurred on the same day. It's the first element that we're going to talk about, that Brandan Banfield killed both Kristi Banfield and Joseph Ryan. We know that on February 24th, 2023, he executed his plan to murder his wife and an innocent stranger. He was in love with Juliana. He can pretend that this was a fling, an affair, he'd had them before, no big deal. He was in love with Juliana. He was afraid of losing her. He needed to get rid of his wife so that they could be together, so that they could marry, so that they could have those babies that he was picking out names for. Juliana told us how the plan was crafted and how it played out that morning in the Banfield house. But you've heard directly from our detectives and our experts the uncontradicted evidence of Brandan Banfield's culpability. You needn't rely only on Juliana's story. There has been a plethora of evidence to help you meet your burden in this case. Let's walk through just the highlights. Our digital evidence. While the digital evidence cannot tell us definitively who was behind the screen, we heard that a bunch. We know that to be true. What it can tell us is that Brandan Banfield and Juliana Perez Magales are more likely to be the ones to have set up Joe Ryan to come into the house to fake rape Kristi on February 24th. There is no digital history, none, of Kristi Banfield using dating sites, fetish sites, searching for pornography, talking to other men prior to the January inception of this scheme. Brandan told you that more than 10 years ago, there were incidents of affairs involving rough sex, but you have 0 evidence to corroborate that self-serving statement. Think about the 2 days of Mr. Litsky's testimony for the defense and the 3 times that Detective Miller was called to this stand. If there was one scintilla of evidence that supported these claims of infidelity, of interest in sexual violence, don't you think you might have heard about it? The FetLife and Telegram contacts all occur on Kristi's laptop, frequently while her phone is in use with something completely innocuous. You remember the frozen tickets, the Lululemon shopping, the family vacations the day before the murder? 2 devices, 2 different people. The FetLife and Telegram usage only ever occurred when Brandan Banfield and Juliana Perez-Magalhaes are in the home. Is it at all plausible that this woman wouldn't take advantage of an empty house to engage in her plans for adultery? That on the 2 weekends that her husband and the nanny are out of the house, those are the 2 weekends where we see zero FetLife activity, zero Telegram activity? Let's look at the chats themselves. Slide 1. How many potential targets were turned down by Juliana and Brandan because they wanted to meet in person first, because they wanted to talk on the phone, because they wanted pictures that included Kristine's face? Does this make any sense for someone seeking a new relationship in an area of sexual exploration that would be new to them? Why would the real Kristi Banfield have been concerned about taking these safety precautions? For that matter, why would the real Kristi Banfield have been searching for someone who was willing to engage in knife play when she had a blood clotting disorder? Why would Kristi use a phone from a gym bathroom, a photo from a phone taken in a gym bathroom when she has all of these far better pictures available? That one keeps stumping us. There are so many more whys, and I'm sure you have plenty of them in your own heads, but the answer is the same to all of these whys, because it wasn't Kristi, it was Brandan Banfield with the help of Juliana. Let's talk about our physical evidence. You heard from Detective Leach, Dr. Kessler, Ms. McCarthy, Dr. Greenspoon, Ms. Colombo. She was up there forever with all those lab sheets. They gave us a million things to think about. Slide 4. Kristi Banfield died as a result of 7 stab wounds to her neck. She suffered massive blood loss. Next, the knife Brandan used to kill her was a kitchen knife with an approximately 4-inch blade, the kind you use for chopping up vegetables. This was the knife that Joe Ryan brought because Anastasia asked him to. This was not the killing knife that Brandan Banfield had envisioned for his scheme. Next, Joe Ryan was shot twice. Once in the head by Brandan Banfield, incapacitating him. A second time by Juliana in the chest, tearing a large hole through his heart and lodging in his spine. His wounds were rapidly fatal, according to Dr. Kessler, and we saw that there was little to no blood from the chest wound. Iris Daly-Graf told you that he would have been incapable of movement following that second shot. Next. We saw evidentiary confirmation of the affair. The semen stains on Juliana's bed sheets. We also saw the photos of Juliana's clothing moved into the primary bedroom when the search warrant was executed in October following the murders. We saw the photos of Brandan and Juliana together, both before and after the murders. Her photos from her Instagram, their family photos in the bedroom after the murder. We saw the records from the shooting range for the purchase of the gun and the training of Juliana to shoot it. Slide 8. We saw the deactivation of the automatic locking feature on the front door at 5:47 a.m. the morning of the murders, done from Kristine's phone by the person who knew how the locking system operated, Brandan Banfield. We saw Kristine's phone turned off at 6:46 a.m. and hidden in a drawer in a bar table in the kitchen. This is just not where you keep your phone. This is not where we heard that this woman kept her phone. This is not where a person who's about to engage in potentially risky behavior puts her source of help. A floor away, turned off, in a drawer, off to the side of the kitchen. Just doesn't make sense. We saw Brandan Banfield drive to McDonald's and hang out, waiting for the call from Juliana. We see their call records, 10 and 11, between Juliana, Kristine's phone, which is turned off, Brendan, Kristine's phone, which is turned off. They're creating a record. It's a plan. It is premeditated. We see this false attempt to check in on Kristine so that they can tell the story to the police when they arrive, that they did everything they possibly could.
She makes great points. She really did. She laid it out very nicely. And it is succinct and it is clear. I mean, the pretending as though Juliana did all of this herself without Brendan's knowledge. And then Brendan immediately moved her into Kristine's bed and they just went on living happily ever after. And that he didn't know that she set this up is really probably the most preposterous part of this for me.
Definitely.
That if he didn't know and thought he was saving his wife and then just moves his girlfriend into the bedroom, those things just don't track. They don't track for me at all.
Just
And
the
Katie
fact,
and
the thought that she could do this by herself doesn't track to me at all.
No.
English is not her first language. This is a bunch
She
of
hadn't lived in
technology
the
and
US
apps and
and-
things.
Yeah. And only came to live in the US when she became their nanny. Like she didn't have a lot of experience, and you cannot tell me that she figured all of that out on her own. I just will never buy that. And that being his defense is ridiculous. That this was in defense of another. No.
Well, clearly the jury thought so too, but I mean, come on. It's such a dumb argument and such an improbable one.
Right. So improbable. And, the idea that while having been stabbed in the throat all of those times, that Kristine was capable of speaking to him in full sentences is absolutely, it's unfathomable to me. There's no way.
No.
She was stabbed in the neck 7 times. Think about your own neck. How many places have you got to stab? It's not that many. There wasn't much left.
Right.
And I was thinking about, because Katie, you said, that likely what's going to happen with Juliana is that she will get time served and will be deported back to Brazil. But I think there was a key about that in the prosecutor's statement. And that is that even though she did shoot him in the chest, that there was very little blood from that chest wound. He was likely already deceased. And definitely the kill shot was the headshot.
Yeah.
Which may be one of the reasons.
But she was capable
determined
of
not
and
to
willing
keep her.
to pick up a gun and shoot a man in cold blood.
She was.
That's terrifying because she easily could just go back to Brazil and do something like this again.
She may. I don't know. I mean, she's definitely a calculated human being.
Because she wanted Kristine bad just as bad as he did and wanted in that bed.
Yep. She did. It's true.
Yeah.
Well, she thinks she's getting a wealthy white guy who's going to support her forever, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because she had to have seen some benefits to being with Banfield. I don't know what they were because none of us see them. But gross.
Yeah. So gross.
Well, speaking of gross, we got to listen to a summary of the defense. And I know this guy makes me want to slap him real hard. And I know he does you too.
Gross.
I don't know. And at one point he said, I'm not gonna try to use any technology in this one. Oh, please don't. Every single time he had to use technology in this trial, he had to have help. Like, he did not learn from one time to the next how to get the damn pictures on the screen. He could not do it.
Wait. Was he an idiot when it comes to technology?
He was definitely an idiot when it comes to technology. Yes, there was some John Pryor in this guy. That was so aggravating. Oh, but anyway, everything about him is aggravating, but we got to do it justice. So let's listen to this.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me? That's been a little bit of a problem, but I have it right on me at this point. I join in the Commonwealth's thanks for your attention, for the time that you've put into this. I intend to present to you with highlights of many of the things that we went through, but I can assure you I'm not going to be going through the evidence that's already been moved in. And it took a long time, and you were very patient, and everyone was very patient.
I'm sorry.
This man is allergic to the microphone. Oh my God, this entire trial, he has been so annoying with it. And he stands there and tells you he's doing better. And then the judge is like, no, you're not. My God. Do you know that he was a prosecutor for a really long time? Like, he should be better at this.
And the prosecutor was a defense attorney for a really long time.
I know.
They've both been on both sides of the coin, but
They have.
she seems to have a much better grasp on technology and microphones.
She definitely does.
Is that better?
Just a little further up.
Can everyone hear that? Okay. I'll try to speak a little louder. Ladies and gentlemen, I join in thanking you for your time, for your attention. You could see over the nearly 3 weeks that everybody was attentive, and that's something that is something that's crucial to this process, and so I thank you. When my children were younger, I used to walk out of the house and tell them, I'm going to defend the Constitution. They didn't have any idea what that was, and oftentimes that became, okay, whatever, Dad. I was a prosecutor then. I was a prosecutor in Fairfax County. And what that meant to me was you presented a case, no matter who it was, you presented a case where you looked at all possibilities and you looked at all evidence to determine and to make sure that you were pursuing someone that the evidence would support. In this case, this was quite unusual. When we first met for the initial opening, I talked to you about some things that I thought you should look into. I thought that you should have an ear towards what is it that they're going to present as evidence. And even I was surprised that the evidence that ultimately was presented by the Commonwealth was actually from my case. The only people that were called to testify from the Commonwealth's case in chief were for body cam video, police officers, a couple of those, and Detective Terry Leach. And he was the one who identified all of the scene photos. He identified many of the pieces of evidence that were brought in. And he was able to talk a little bit about things such as the blood stains on the gun, the blood stains next to the bed. And what he told you, ladies and gentlemen, and this was the extent of, I think, their testimony in their case, was that there are numerous things within this scene that we can see in pictures, but they were never tested. There are numerous things that became...
He goes on a major Lori Vallow rant about not testing things. I mean, they tested all kinds of stuff, but you know. Anyway.
Wait, they didn't test the shards of the window?
Right.
For stuff and things?
Yeah. The not testing things always blows me away when they've had all of this forensic evidence presented and all the stuff that they did test. And, you know,
they're like, oh, well, yeah, but don't worry. There's things that weren't tested, and that's why you should find us not guilty.
Yeah. Like, whatever, dude.
The centerpiece of the fantastic story that the Commonwealth tells, yet they were never tested. For example, if I were to have the opportunity to cross-examine, say, the chief detective of this case, I might ask, why wasn't their fingerprints done or even DNA of this gun safe that we hear about. We hear Juliana goes into the back bathroom and talks about getting a gun. It changes a little bit over time, but if someone had said they went to the gun safe, because we're talking about guns, we're talking about shooting, why wouldn't there be some sort of evidence to either corroborate or preclude that possibility? I asked Detective Leach, he says, well, it's really up to the forensic examiners. They make the decision. In looking at the scene, you'll notice in the body cam video that you're going to be reviewing, there's a point when first responders come in and you see Brendan kneeling down next to his wife, rendering aid. He just shot Joe Ryan. He testified yesterday, he puts the gun down to his right, which is where his holster is. And he also indicates to you in his testimony yesterday that he moves the knife away from Joe Ryan. The staining on the bed where my client put the gun for the first responders, because whenever there's any sort of a shooting, you have to make sure that you are nowhere near the gun in the event that you're perceived as someone who's hostile. He puts it to the corner of the bed, and the questions that remain were, did anybody ever test the blood on that gun? And you hear from Detective Leach, you can't do that. It was already test fired, and now would be potential for contaminant. Now, we didn't test the stains down on the floor where the gun was lying in before it went up on the bed. And we didn't test the gun, which appeared to be something that a serologist could just take a swab of. Yet there's some significance placed on the fact that there was a blood stain where the gun was when it had been sitting in a puddle. And so that actually was tested. In terms of the blood stain pattern analysis, which appears to be the Commonwealth's main focus of the case now, there are questions about many of the things that Ms. Sands says were never tested. And so the conclusions that are being reached in terms of Brandan Banfield did this, he did this, he did this, based upon whatever blood analysis, is oftentimes not considering the fact that it was never tested. We don't even know whose blood it was. Those kind of things are important. And so let's go back to defending the Constitution. When you are charged with presenting a case, and I chuckle a little bit when Ms. Sands says, we haven't proved anything, we haven't shown any evidence. All we've done is show evidence. All we've done is try to get the truth out there. My client doesn't have to testify, yet he gets up there and he tells a story. He's a philanderer.
Buddy, that's not evidence. Banfield on the stand is not evidence of anything other than bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
He'd never told that story anywhere else. He made sure he never told that story anywhere else. He couldn't be impeached based on what he'd said in the past, that's for sure. Because he refused to speak to the police. He refused to get involved. Like, give me a break. That is, Banfield's testimony is evidence of nothing. Unless there is actual evidence to back it up, and there isn't.
No, and those are just words from someone who doesn't want to go to prison forever.
Right. And sure, he got on the stand and talked about what a bad guy he was for cheating on his wife all the time. And then he made up some epic bullshit about the wife that he murdered and her philandering, which, as the prosecutor pointed out, was never substantiated
Yeah.
at all. Not in none of it. And
No.
if they had anything, the defense would have presented it.
You
They
bet
would
they
have.
would have. Absolutely.
That's
All
just
they
so
had was
disgusting.
shade. Yeah.
And the stuff that he said, I will never get over. The stuff that Banfield said about Christine being a SART nurse,
Yeah.
and that's what got her involved in violent sex. Oh my God. I want to slap him into next year for saying such a hideous thing. As a SART advocate,
Yeah.
fuck you guys
Yeah.
for saying shit like that. It's so disgusting. And absolute lies.
Yep.
Because
Absolutely.
if they could prove anything, they would have. They had nothing. All of that was bullshit.
Yep.
We can conclude that. It's horrible. It's a horrible situation to be in. He had affairs. He accepted that. He told you, ladies and gentlemen, exactly what was going on and exactly how it went. On cross-examination, he admitted to communications that were provided, which were letters between he and Juliana when she was in jail. This is about the truth. In the beginning, you heard our duty is about fairness, our duty is about being just, all those sorts of things. Yet you don't put on any of your detectives. She's referring to the expert that they have that I called. I called 3 times, and you saw his demeanor. He was very uncomfortable. Why would he be uncomfortable? Why would he have been uncomfortable talking about his work? And we dug for it, and he ultimately said, the executive summary and the data remain the same. The only thing that changed is Juliana Perez Magalay's statement. Excuse me 1 second. So there, number 1, that's the first time that anyone in this case, which was when I called him, conclusively said the entire catfishing theory changed upon her plea deal. So let's talk a little bit about confirmation bias, or...
And here is the part where he does the thing that almost all defense attorneys do, which is to imply that there was some kind of conspiracy against Brandan Banfield. Seriously.
It's
Stop
always
doing
a conspiracy.
This. It does not work. It doesn't work.
The jury hates it.
Why? The jury hates it. Also, you think the police are just sitting out there conspiring to hang up people who are so obviously guilty as Brandan Banfield? Are you serious with this shit? But that's what he's doing with this, is that they decided that this was the theory of the case after her plea deal, which the prosecutor did debunk that and say absolutely not, that was our theory from the beginning. But that this is what he says, because he can just stand up there and say
whatever.
anything.
Yeah.
He says it's about the truth. Except they didn't present anything that was actually provably true at all.
No.
Nothing he's doing is about the truth.
No.
I think we referred to it when we were talking in closing.
Oh, what was that? And what?
I just wanted to say, we always get accused of hating defense attorneys. I just want to say that sometimes we hate the state, and sometimes we hate them all. Don't think it's only defense attorneys.
No.
And sometimes we love them and sing their praises. So, but if they suck and they're ridiculous like this, we're going to say so.
Right. Calling this the truth, calling Banfield's testimony evidence. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Do better.
Or when I was talking in closing about a rush to judgment. You've heard from detectives from Fairfax County. Detective Smith came up and she told you the catfish theory started within weeks of the event. She says, that's not how we do it. We look to the evidence and we follow the evidence. Seems like a pretty reasonable way to go. And that was something that I asked of pretty much everyone that was in some sort of investigatory capacity. That is the way cases go, is the evidence leads you where you're going to go.
That's what he asked of everyone? With all of his power and influence? Okay, Jan.
Sure.
I'm sure they did exactly what you asked.
Yeah, right.
But lo and behold, what we find out is that that theory is being peddled by the two people in command staff, actually the three people in command staff that you also heard from. You heard from from Mr. Bruch, formerly Deputy Chief Bruch, that when Brendan Miller presented his findings, well, first of all, he said, I didn't agree with his report. And I said, well, what, if any, analysis of the raw data did you do in order to make that statement, I don't agree with this report? He said, well, it wasn't that. I don't know about the data, though he said he was a computer forensic PhD. He didn't take the time to do that. So I said, okay, well, did you ever have Detective Miller come in and walk you through it? Like, show your work. Well, we talked about it quite often, but did you, in fact, have him go through everything that he did to arrive at his work? No, we didn't do that. He speaks to Lieutenant Giacchio at the time, who appears to have a direct line to him, obviating anybody else within the command staff. And what you'll see, and you'll see it in the evidence, there are emails where soon...
There you know, go. That's enough of him, because I don't think we need to listen to any more of the conspiracy bullshit and the splitting hairs and picking on specific words that people say when there is so much evidence against Brandan Banfield and his co-conspirator. Like, I don't know. I just get real sick of it.
Well, so does the jury.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was so much word salad that tell me the jury didn't tune out after the first 10 minutes of that.
You know that they did. And this dude, I mean, I don't know what he thinks he's getting out of this with the extremely tedious way that he presented everything in his case. It doesn't help.
No.
The very succinct prosecutor, although made us all a little nervous, was actually much more effective.
Well, it makes me think about Lori Vallow's Arizona trials. We were a little worried about that prosecutor for the same reason. And, you know, and Lori's attorney was a complete dumbass. And so, you know.
She sure was.
But again, effective. I agree.
Yeah.
I think this is like weddings and funerals. You should keep it short and to the point as much as possible.
I think that is true. I think about that a lot too, Marta, about how an attorney is not supposed to put their client on the stand to testify if they know they are lying. Yeah. This guy actually believes Brandan Banfield and this bullshit? Really? Like, it just doesn't, that just does not track. Right, and he's unaware of his own delivery. And you'd think that would be something that you'd want to be a little more aware of. Yeah, the teaching his son about the Constitution. Oh, God. Gag me with a spoon, okay? Ridiculous. Anyway, that's what we got out of him. And let's just see what the jury thought of all of that.
Right. I understand. You can be seated. Thank you. I understand we have a verdict. Are we ready for the jury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder that I cannot tolerate any outbursts in the courtroom at the time of the verdict reading, please. Thank you.
Really did like this judge a lot.
I know. She's retiring on July 1st.
Right. And juror
Yeah.
But
number
good for her.
9, you were the foreperson in this case, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and are these the verdicts of the jury?
Yes, it is.
And are they unanimous?
Yes, it is.
In criminal case number FE 2024-666, count 1, we, the jury on the issue, join in the case of the Commonwealth of Virginia versus Brandan Robert Banfield defendant, find the defendant guilty of aggravated murder of Joseph Ryan and Christine Banfield as part of the same act or transaction.
Look at that face.
All the blinking,
All the blinking, the looking down.
eyes rolling around. Yeah.
Look how red his face is getting. Dude was
Mhm.
not expecting this.
Nope.
Which is so bizarre to me.
He thought he was going to sit down and have a talk with the jury and they'd see it his way.
He's just going to tell you.
Mhm.
This reminds me of a time when I was a domestic violence advocate and I went to a trial of a domestic violence incident to be the advocate for my client.
Mhm.
And the defendant got on the stand and
Mhm.
did a very similar thing. He did a narrative testimony in which he just said, Your Honor, I knew if I just came and talked, and this was a judge, this was a bench trial, there was no jury.
Mhm.
And he said, Your Honor, I knew if I just sat down here and talked to you man to man about what happened, that you'd understand. And then proceeded to lay out the entire crime in which he admitted having done every single thing that he was convicted of doing.
Mhm.
I will never forget it as long as I live. I was a very young social worker at the time. And at the end of his testimony, the prosecutor stood up and said, Your Honor, I don't think we have to do anything else here. He seems to have done my job for me. And the judge said he sure did, and he convicted him on the spot.
But it was man to man, guys.
Well, I did this to her because of this, and then I drug her down the stairs because of that, and I did this and that and this and that. And we are all just looking at each other like, are you fucking kidding me right now? But he
Mhm.
really thought that he could just explain why he did the things that he did, and then he wouldn't be, the judge would understand that it was
Yeah.
all justified, the abuse that he committed. The prosecutor, the look on that prosecutor's face, the whole thing, I think it was the very first trial I had ever attended as a social worker. It was absolutely priceless. And that guy was furious and stunned when the judge was like, well, you did just admit the entire thing to me right here on the stand, so it's not going to take us much time to determine what's going to happen here. And that guy was stunned.
He couldn't believe
Your
it.
Honor, I explained to you. Yeah, you did. And you admitted to all the crimes that you were charged with right there. The way the prosecutor was like, I don't even need to give closing arguments. Like, he just did it for me.
Mhm.
He
But man to
really
man,
did.
guys. Man to man. That's code.
Right.
I guess the judge
Yeah.
didn't get the memo.
Yeah, I guess not.
Case number FE 2024-666, count 4. We, the jury on the issue joined in the case of the Commonwealth of Virginia versus Brandan Robert Banfield defendant, find the defendant guilty of aggravated murder of Joseph Ryan within the same 3-year period during which he did also kill and murder Christine Banfield. In case number FE 2024-666, count 5, we the jury on the issue joined in the case of the Commonwealth of Virginia versus Brandan Robert Banfield defendant, find the defendant guilty of using a firearm in the commission of a felony. In case number FE 2024-873, count 1, we, the jury on the issue joined in the case of the Commonwealth of Virginia versus Brandan Robert Banfield defendant, find the defendant guilty of child endangerment.
All right. Would either side like the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Members of the jury, if this is your verdict, please answer yes. If this is not your verdict, please answer no. Juror number 2. Juror number 5.
Yes.
Juror number 9.
Yes.
Juror number 10.
Yes.
Juror number 12.
Yes.
Juror number 19.
Yes.
Juror number 22.
Yes.
Juror number 25.
Yes.
Juror number 28.
Yes.
Juror number 32.
Yes.
Juror number 34. Juror number 37.
Yes.
Thank you.
The court does find that the jury verdict is unanimous at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, this completes your service in this case, and I know I speak for everybody that we thank you in this difficult case for all the time and attention you've taken to it. I do need to go back to the jury room for one more time, and I'll be back there in a few minutes just to talk to you before you leave, okay? All right, so you're
Right? I'm glad you all caught that his case number was 666. Yes, somebody said that was foreshadowing. Sure was. Sure was.
excused to the jury. Thank you.
Brendan's parents there.
All right.
He looks just like his dad.
Mr. Banfield, in accordance with the
think
jury
that's his
verdict, I
stepdad,
do
isn't
find
it?
you guilty
Is that?
of
I don't know. He looks
aggravated
just like
murder
that
on
guy.
count
Was,
1 of 2024-666, and also count 4 of 2024-666, and count 5, commission of a felony with a firearm of 2024-666. Also on count 1 of 873 of child endangerment, I
Oh,
do find you guilty
The woman is.
as found by the jury. Do you wish to have a pre-sentence investigation report, Mr. Carroll?
Yes, Your Honor.
Look at this little puppy dog pout on his face. Like he can't just be an adult ever, can he?
He's-
So
he's
that
gonna be
is
a
his dad and his stepmom. And
Stepmom,
yeah,
okay. I knew there
But
was
he
a
looks
step
just
in
like
there
his dad.
somewhere. He's going to be such a Kohlberger in prison.
oh yeah, he is.
All right, I'll order a pre-sentence investigation report for this case. What date did you want to set this for?
I don't know what dates you would have available.
I could set it for, do you plan to have victim impact statements, I
Yes, ma'am.
assume, and testimony? I mean, I could put it on, well, any day before July 1st.
Understood.
I'm retired then, so let's pick, is April far enough for you, Mr. Carroll?
Your Honor, may I just look at my schedule?
Sure.
Would there be a particular? day?
April 17th is my sentencing day.
Okay.
Judge, that is the one day in April we would
You
not.
can't do, okay. Well, we can make it a different date in April. I mean, I do have March 20th, but that might be too quick.
And April 17th doesn't work for you? Tom?
No,
No,
but
unfortunately.
if you
We
don't
do-
want to go to, I mean, we could go to May 8th. I have May 8th available. Or I could make it any Friday that you want to go to in April, if that's too far for you, Mr. Carroll.
May 8th is available, Judge. It's only 2 weeks away from April 17th.
Okay, May
so-
8th.
That's fine.
All right, we'll set it for sentencing then on May 8th, and we have the pre-sentence investigation report by that time. And if you need it for a special time, just let me know if we need to move it from the
Yes,
10
ma'am.
o'clock time.
As soon as we've
Okay.
had a chance to speak with the
All right.
witnesses and the victims' families.
All right, anything further for this matter at this time?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All rise.
Does it make you
And
wonder,
there he
like,
went.
yep. I always wonder about like people in their circles, right? What do you think people who worked with him thought when this news broke? I want to see the group chat, you know? Like,
Yeah, you know,
you're
this,
not going to believe what Banfield's charged with. And people are like, oh no, I think I do believe that. Yeah.
yeah. One of the rebuttal witnesses for the prosecution was Banfield's supervisor on the day that this occurred. And he was an acting supervisor because the supervisor was out of town.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that he spoke about Banfield, yeah, no. I think he was probably the guy that nobody liked.
Oh yeah, you know that's true.
That he was weird and made people uncomfortable. And this guy did not do any good for Brendan at all when it came right down to it. And I just thought, yeah, I don't think they were big fans.
Oh, come on. This is the coworker who says weird and inappropriate things or just blatantly rude things to your face. I'm like, what? It's just the truth. You know, that kind of shit. This is that guy. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, most definitely. This is the guy who thought he was a real cop because he was a tax cop.
And also had multiple affairs on his wife. So don't tell me that he wasn't hitting on women at work, because he was.
Right. You know he was. I mean, all it took was Juliana to step to the left instead of the right for him to be all in, if you recall in his statement.
Yeah.
So gross.
Ugh.
Right? Defense never did say why he lied about that meeting. Because, you know, his story was that he had this very important meeting with his supervisor at work that morning. Yeah, no. Said regular supervisor and acting supervisor, neither of whom were even in town on that day. There was no meeting. He completely made that up.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Super duper gross. So that's the end of that. Next time we see Banfield, he will be in a jumpsuit, and that's good. Some of you have said, where is his daughter? I don't know. From what I can find, there's not anything publicly reported to confirm where the little girl is.
Yeah.
I just hope that she's safe and with good people.
Yeah, with family that loves
You know,
her.
he made himself out to be a super duper extra fantastic dad when he was on the stand. But yeah, you don't lock your little girl in the basement and then go murder her mother while she's in the house.
You also don't have affairs with the nanny if you're a good dad. You just don't. You have good boundaries, and you don't do terrible things like that. You just don't.
Yep. You really don't. You don't do good things. You don't do things like that and be a good dad.
Yeah.
And so I just hope that she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a lot to recover from. And she was 4 years old when this happened.
Yeah.
So sad. Well, I think at least there's justice for Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan.
Yeah.
And at least this part's over.
I hope at the victim's impact that we get to learn a little bit more about Joseph Ryan. I hope his family really gets their moment to be seen and heard and to have justice for their family member. No shade to Christine, but Joe really fell through the cracks in this trial, and I think that's
so
really
much
sad.
so much so. It is, and it reminds me a little bit of how Tammy Daybell fell through the cracks in
agree.
the Daybell Vallow trials, and it's awful because he was 100% innocent, and these disgusting people, not only did they plan Christine's death, but they involved a total innocent stranger in their gross plan. Yeah. And that's just like, that's a whole other level of psycho, I think.
Well, it's the depravity of being completely comfortable, not only with murdering Christine, which was terrible, but to include a complete stranger in this, not only kill them, but implicate them as being a murderer. Yeah. Like, you really let that settle, you know? Yeah. Had they gotten away with this, Joseph Ryan's family would have thought forever that perhaps he was a murderer.
Yeah. Or maybe they wouldn't have. Maybe they would have never believed this about him. Because it sounds like they never did.
Right.
But yes, the world would have. It's true. It's true.
A guy they did not know, that they had no reason to harm, but they were totally okay with that because they were that selfish.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it's over. I'm always glad when trials are over. I'm really glad I don't have to listen to this shit anymore.
Yeah.
We'll move on to something else that we'll have to listen to. Corey Richins, probably, you know.
Definitely, Corey. Well, there's a trial that started today that I'm really curious about. We're going to talk about it tomorrow, but
Yes.
the defense was actually held in contempt today during their opening statement.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Okay. Well, got to jump in on that then.
Yeah, we'll have it for you tomorrow. Pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Well, somebody said I'd sure love to see him in a cell with Koberger. We'll talk about this more on Wednesday. But Idaho is trying to dump Koberger off on another state. They're so done with his shit.
Already?
They are ready to just ship him. Hey, murderer for sale. Anybody want to take this asshole? That's pretty much what IDOC is doing right now. So that should be very interesting to see what the hell happens.
Does anybody want to take this asshole? And
Really? Like,
word, no one does, but
and my first thought was ADX Florence?
right.
Maybe? You know, if he's got to go somewhere that can handle his bullshit better, I don't know. Or if they're just going to be saddled with him because he's an Idaho murderer. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, there's Memers showing her face.
Oh.
So we have a lot for you this week. We have delayed several things that we wanted to cover to finish up the Banfield trial. So don't worry. We have a whole bunch of new stuff coming, beginning with this trial that we're going to start covering tomorrow, as well as some other things that we had all prepared last week. And then Banfield wrapped up and we had to put it all aside.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you all so much, whether you're here live or after the fact. Please take a moment to like, share, comment, leave a review, follow us. Hey, if you listen on Spotify, just follow us over there. Spotify really thinks we should have more followers than we do. I don't know. Does it really matter?
We're trying, Spotify. We're doing our best.
Well, they say there's a message on our account that says based on the number of listens we have, we should have more followers. So just follow us. I don't know. Whatever.
Make Spotify happy, okay?
Just because Spotify wants you to, okay? But anyway, we appreciate you all so very much. And yeah, I mean, you know, you don't have to do what Spotify has to say, but if you don't mind, I'm sure it'll probably help us over there. So
it probably would, yeah.
With that, we are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Take care.
Join the Super Squad, bonus laughs, deeper clues, same sharp sleuths, just extra clues.